that deal.
I mean, even though I'm sure you've been accused of being some kind of puppet for Putin or whatever. But again, last year we were talking about kind of strategic empathy, the idea that you may not like what another country is doing and they may be
Right,
bad, but
right,
you have to understand that they have their own interest. And,
right,
we talked about NATO, and NATO's expanded even since then. And,
right.
to not to say, like, tell us why Putin's doing, a good thing, but Russia seems actually realistically to be hemmed in, and not. I mean, do you see any way that they could, kind of be given an out to kind of have some credibility left?
Yeah, yeah, I think I can. I mean, let's back up a second. Before the war began, and not just days before, months before, years before, Putin was signaling that his insistence that there is well, first of all, his insistence that Russia is a great power and deserves to be respected. Second, that Russia has a set of vital security interests that are defined at least partially in territorial terms, which is another way of saying he contended that Russia has a sphere of influence that others should respect. And if they respect it, then there's a possibility of mutual coexistence. You'll recall, and I think this was not only after the war began, but before the war began, the Biden administration's position, if I remember correctly, articulated in particular by the Secretary of State, the position was there are no such things as spheres of influence. That's a old-fashioned 19th century concept that has no validity. Putin obviously didn't accept that, and of course the ironic part is that actually neither do we. I mean, the United States certainly expects respect for a sphere of influence that minimally consists of the Western Hemisphere and maximally consists of the entire planet. that, apart from the People's Republic of China and Russia, but everything else, we expect to have a certain amount of deference with regard to, our presence and our activities. So, I think the precondition of an agreement is for the United States to acknowledge that yes, Russia does have interests that are distinct from our own, and that Russia deserves to have those interests respected. Bob, you're right. Then that brings out accusations of being a Putin sympathizer, which is absurd. But the larger point of the importance of trying to empathize, not agree with, not endorse, but to try to empathize with the perspective of your adversary is like, rule number one, I think, in statecraft.
Kind of